This is Performance Shop, presented by Tuff Stuff Performance Accessories.
Man, I am really excited about this particular build we're going to be doing this season on Sam's Garage. We got ourselves a 1965 C10 pickup truck from my good friend Robert. And you can see it's already slammed to the ground in the way of an air suspension system, and that's why it makes it a perfect candidate for our Tuff Stuff 100 amp one wire internally regulated alternator, because we need extra power to run the compressor and to run all the accessories that we're going to be building on this truck, because we're going to keep a patina. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start by removing the alternator. And you guys, when it comes to Tuff Stuff, now this thing is a 65 and it's got an externally regulator on the alternator, and we're going to get rid of all that because our Tuff Stuff alternator has a one wire deal with an internal regulator, and that's going to just make it much cleaner underneath the hood. Now also remember that whenever you guys are working on your truck or your car at home and you're doing a job like this, I always tell my employees at the shop, make sure to remove everything and get it out of your way. You know, a lot of times they'll be lazy and remove one bolt, let the other bolt stay there loose and kind of hang the brackets out of the way, but they always fall back down, getting in your way. So the best thing to do, it just takes a couple more minutes to go ahead and remove the hardware, remove the brackets, and do everything on the bench. That way you have plenty of room to work around the engine, and it'll make the job actually faster, even though you got to remove extra parts. We have many different finishes that we could be putting into this vehicle, but this one, little patina, not a lot of bling, so we went ahead and went with the black version, okay? And it is the Stealth Black. Now they also have a polished chrome, they have factory cast plus, black chrome, and ours is Stealth Black, but it's got a nice shiny chrome pulley on it as well. And don't forget, even though they powder coated it, and they took the measure of scraping off the powder coat for ground, they even give you the ground eyelet just for safe measure. So make sure to hook that up, even though they've taken care of that for you, okay? Reversing the brackets onto our new alternator, and we'll go ahead and put it in the truck. Now what I've done is ran a new power wire, heavier gauge. I've got a 2-gauge power wire on this, and the good thing is that Tuff Stuff actually sells power wire for most of your custom applications. They've got different lengths. We needed about 4 feet of it, so we had to run our own. I got James going out getting me a 100 amp inline fuse for that power wire to make sure it's protected, because it is going behind the motor and you never know what can happen down the road. It's always a good idea to make sure that anytime you have a hot wire, that you have that wire fused. All right, we're gonna keep everything loose. I'm gonna go ahead and put my top bracket in place. And remember guys, sometimes these bolt holes that come from different manufacturers, they're gonna have different size threads. Okay, like for instance, this one's a metric and it's gonna have to go back in with a standard, believe it or not. So I've got me a standard 5/16 18 course thread. And we're gonna go ahead and put our bracket on. There we go. All right, we're gonna go ahead and hand tighten this one right here. Now the way this bracket is set up, I'm gonna have to run my belt over the alternator before I run down this last bolt for the bracket. So it's a little tight. We're gonna put it on just like that, grab our hardware, and put in our bracket where it was on the intake manifold. And then we can go ahead and tension our belt, tighten everything up, and hook up our wiring. And in this case, that's gonna be the most simple part because it is a one-wire deal. I've already ran my heavy power wire and we'll be good to go. Now I've already hooked up one side of my ground to the intake manifold. I'm gonna hook up the other side of my ground to the alternator itself, and that'll pretty much wrap up this project.